What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're going to do a Raw recap. We started right off in the Performance Center. During the intro, the lights in the Performance Center were going out. At this time, there's no absolute mention why. We opened right up with a match. Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States title. During Apollo Crews' entrance, the power went out again. They try to explain it as there are storms in the area, but according to the radar, as you can see right here, there's not a goddamn thing going on. So obviously this is not going live. MVP had most of the offense to this match due to some interference by Lashley, but when MVP tried to go Super Saiyan, Apollo Crews starts to fight back, nailing MVP with a toss powerbomb, pins him, and is the United States title. I guess the undisputed one because each one of them had a title belt. Okay, it was a good match. I liked it. I like opening up right with a match. Good. We didn't have that 10-minute bullshit that we've always had. But as you're going to be seeing later on, I'm going to be eating my own words there. Backstage, Apollo Crews has an interview. He's hyping up the fact that he won both belts. All right, cool. Back in the ring, MVP has a microphone. He runs down commentary and Apollo Crews. He said he lost because of all the sabotage and the lights blinking on and off, and he wants a rematch at SummerSlam. What? Aren't we, supposed to be done with the automatic rematch clause? Then we got a backstage shot of some big-ass dude guarding a door. It's going to be revealed what's going on behind there later. They're saying it's supposed to be the brainchild of the returning Shane McMahon. I thought he was fired when Kevin Owens beat him back in October. In a backstage interview, we got Sasha Banks and Bayley gloating that they won all the belts. We have yet another stupid fucking video package of the two of them. This, however, cuts to Asuka saying that she will have her revenge. We cut backstage. We have Sasha Banks and Bayley irate on what's going on. Shayna Baszler comes into the shot, says she's waited long enough, and clocks the hell out of Sasha Banks. So they're going to be having a match later on tonight. We also got the Iconics approaching Kevin Owens saying they want to be on his show. He says, no, I already got my guest booked. Maybe next week. So we got the Kevin Owens show. He quickly addresses Shane McMahon and introduces his guest, Ruby Riott. They talk about Riott's record, and she says how she put the Iconics bullshit to bed. Those were her words exactly. Although she says too bad Liv Morgan wasn't there to celebrate it. Kevin Owens says there is a special guest tonight, Liv Morgan. She comes out. Before anybody speaks, Kevin Owens says to Liv Morgan, look, it's worth listening to her. Just from his past experience on backstabbing people, it's worth listening to what she's got to say. Ruby Riott emotionally asks Liv Morgan for another chance. And of course, this is going to be interrupted by the Australian Bella twins. They say that nobody cares. They run down Ruby Riott and Morgan. Morgan says that we may not be BFFs or iconic, but nobody starts a riot better than us. Owen suggests the Iconics leave. The Iconics said that they want a match. Kevin Owens suggests maybe we can have a couple more technical difficulties on their microphone. Peyton Royce slaps the hell out of him. Then the Riot Squad jumps to the Iconics, so we got a match. So it's the Riot Squad versus the Australian Bella Twins. Kevin Owens is over at commentary. It was a decent match. Ruby Riott gets worked over, gets the hot tag onto Liv Morgan. She starts to pick things up. She gets a surprise roll-up on Billie Kay, gets the win. After the match, Peyton Royce attacks Liv Morgan. Ruby Riott comes running in for the save, and the Riot Squad stands tall. So it looks like we're going to have the Riot Squad back again. Backstage, Charlie Caruso reports of an accident that happened earlier. A box fell over. What the fuck? MVP shows up. He's still bitching about losing his title. He says he accepts Apollo Crews' challenge. Shelton Benjamin comes up and says somebody stole his 24/7 title. So I guess we're going to be on the hunt for that. Drew McIntyre comes out for the Hour 2 talk segment. Talks about Randy Orton. After rambling for a little bit, Randy Orton comes out with Ric Flair. Orton says he's going to enjoy giving an RKO and putting Drew McIntyre's head off. Orton says he's more valuable to the company than McIntyre and that he is the chosen one, not McIntyre. Orton says after spouting out opinions from everybody else, he wants an original opinion from McIntyre. So McIntyre says that Orton is everything that's wrong with the WWE, calls Orton a selfish prick, and at SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre is going to rip off Orton's head for all of those people that Orton had kicked down, beat down, punted their heads off all over. All right. It does look like it's going to be a good match, though. Backstage, Ric Flair meets up with Kevin Owens, and then a combination of Ric Flair slurring and Kevin Dunn not fucking with the microphones enough, I really couldn't tell you what Ric Flair said. I'm guessing he was trying to give Owens some advice, but Kevin Owens says that he's taking a different path than Orton. Owens tells Flair to tell Owens to meet him in the ring next week and they'll have a match. Then we got Nia Jax in the ring. We get a recap of what happened last week where she beat up an official. That same official is standing right behind her. Apparently he's waiting for an apology. Jax says, "You'll get that apology when you beat me in a match." He says that she's going to be indefinitely suspended without pay. Nia Jax kirks out and beats him up again. Bruh. Okay. It's at this point that R-Truth goes running through the ringside area with the 24/7 title, which is our next match. Shelton Benjamin versus Akira Tozawa versus R-Truth for the 24/7 title. As soon as the bell rings, Akira rolls out of the ring. He's being guarded by his ninjas. The rest of the Hurt Business is also sitting at ringside. At one point, Shelton Benjamin puts down one hell of a powerbomb onto Akira. MVP, Lashley, and Benjamin put out the rest of the ninjas. Tozawa hits the Swanton Bomb onto R-Truth, sneaks the pin, and is now the new 24/7 champion. Backstage, we got Shane McMahon in a stripped-down ring with people fighting in it, announcing that Raw Underground is going to be starting at 10 o'clock. We then get a recap of last week of Dominik, Aleister Black, Seth Rollins, and Murphy. Backstage, Dominik challenges Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. There's more going to be on that later. Then we got our next match, Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks. Bayley is sitting at ringside. After slapping Baszler, Sasha Banks gets a beatdown. Bayley distracts Baszler. This allows Sasha Banks to start taking over. There were some seriously nasty spots in this match. Baszler gives some crazy ass kick to Sasha Banks, lays her out. Asuka comes running out to ringside, beats down Bayley, and apparently at this point the referee calls a match, I guess because Sasha Banks was laid out, I don't know. Asuka rushes the ring, Sasha Banks leaves. I almost thought we were going to have a Teddy Long moment here, but no, I was surprised. We then have an in-ring interview with Asuka. After a recap of Kairi Sane getting beat down by Bayley, Asuka wants a rematch with Sasha Banks at SummerSlam. Then from behind Asuka, Shayna Baszler pops up, says she ain't trying to fight her. She's actually going to be in Asuka's corner, cheering her on in hopes that she wins. What? She hopes that she wins because she's going to take the belt off of Asuka. Then we got Sasha Banks and Bayley coming back out. She tells Asuka that she will have a chance at the belt if she beats one of the members of the Four Horsemen, Bayley, next week on Raw. Bayley is none too happy about all this. So I'm going to take a guess that Asuka's going to tear the hell out of Bayley, and we'll be seeing Asuka versus Sasha Banks on SummerSlam. We then go to our new segment with Shane McMahon, Raw Underground. Little rules, chaos, and a little bit of excitement. Okay. We got Baba Keto versus some no-name. That's literally, they don't even really give this man a name. Keto beats down this guy, then some hapless dude that gets in the ring. Alright. Next we got back-to-back matches from two tag teams. Angelo Dawkins versus Angel Garza. There is one little segment, and if you blinked you missed it, where Montez Ford was looking weird at his drink. Keep an eye on that because that's going to be coming up in a second. This was an okay match. A little bit of back and forth. Really wasn't all that much to it. Partway through the match, Montez Ford passes out, distracting Dawkins. Angel Garza gets a super kick and gets the pin. So then we have our next match, Montez Ford versus Andrade. Andrade dominates most of this match. Montez Ford tries to fight back, collapses in the ring, and referee calls the match. And we go backstage where Buddy Murphy is rewatching everything that happened last week with Dominik and Aleister Black. Rollins tells him that you should be proud. Murphy questions whether Rollins should take the match with Dominik. And we go back to Raw Underground. We got Eric from the Viking Raiders going up against some kid. As you can guess, some kid just got laid out. And we cut backstage. Apparently Montez Ford was poisoned. Bianca Belair comes out of the doctor's room. She is pissed off at Zelina Vega. They have a big ass fight. I thought that was going to be a match tonight, but no, because it looked like Zelina Vega was in some sort of ring gear, but no, we didn't have nothing for that. Then we cut to some surveillance footage where a bunch of ninjas throw fire bombs at a generator. What?
This is such good shit.
Charlie Caruso runs into MVP in the Hurt Business. MVP says there's a ton of sabotage going on tonight. Here's about Raw Underground, so I guess they're going to pay them a visit. Then we got another recap of the Seth Rollins Rey Mysterio saga. Jesus Christ. Seth Rollins and Murphy come out to waste more time, because why not? We didn't have that 10-minute segment at the beginning of the night. We'll just throw everything on towards the end. We got to get those minutes in. Rollins asks Tom Phillips if he's being professional and unbiased. He questions Phillips for cheering on Dominik last week, says that we need to have a new voice on commentary, tells Buddy Murphy to take him. Samoa Joe stands up, tells him to back off. And I did write in my show notes that Samoa Joe was standing up to another bully like he did with Brock Lesnar, But this guy here on Twitter pointed out to me that that was Dio Madden, not Samoa Joe. Thank you very much for pointing that out to me. I do stand corrected. So I got Rollins and Murphy standing in the ring with some chairs. Samoa Joe's trying to get into the ring. Dominik comes running in from behind, nails Rollins and Murphy with a kendo stick, beats him down, hits Rollins with the 619, jumps off the top rope, landing on both Murphy and Rollins. Rollins gets on the microphone, says you're on at SummerSlam. So hopefully we can put an end to this whole thing, because Jesus Christ, I can't stand another 30-minute fucking recap of the same thing over and over and over again. So now that we got 4 minutes left in the show, we go to our final segment at Raw Underground. We got Dolph Ziggler versus some nobody who gets beat down, put in a sleeper hold, taps out. The Hurt Business comes running in. MVP says that the Hurt Business now runs Raw Underground. Lashley's in the ring. He lays out some dude. So now it's MVP's turn. Lashley pulls up some guy who gets beat down, and the aforementioned Dio Madden gets beat down by Shelton Benjamin. The Hurt Business then beats up the rest of the people standing around at ringside, stands tall in the ring. Shane McMahon says, well, we'll see you next week, drops the microphone and runs off. And with this, we end tonight's Raw. Holy shit. This one, yeah. I was actually interested for a minute when they were hinting at what was going to be shown. What they did show was a low-budget Fight Club. It's fucking ridiculous. At first, when I heard Shane McMahon's going to be coming back to Raw, I'm like, oh Christ. And now that I see what's going on, I'm not impressed. They were supposed to be hinting at some faction joining Raw. They made no mention of it. I've heard somewhere that maybe that's supposed to be happening next week. Maybe it might be the Undisputed Era. Who knows? I will give the Raw Underground bit the benefit of the doubt. It, from what I saw tonight, sucked. And I'll give them another chance. Hopefully they don't screw it. I'm not going to be putting a lot of faith in it, because we are talking about Vince McMahon here. But in all, Raw was way too talk heavy, way too many recaps. They got a plus for starting with a match right off the bat, but they just fell short from there. And I'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back later on this week with the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below. What you thought of tonight's Raw? What you thought about this video? If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.